Hello everyone, I am here. I'm online. What's up? The stream has started. If you can hear me, type in the message box and let me know because I have no idea if this is working. What? Yeah. Okay, so today I'm working on this picture of Christmas Catria, like I said in my Twitter. I'm going to be rendering her, which is a fancy word for coloring and blending. So I get a lot of people saying that they like the way that I shade skin and clothing folds and stuff. So if you're interested in watching me doing that, that is what I am doing today. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Or you can ask me questions about anything, about my art or just my, whatever my favorite games are. And once again, can you guys hear me at all, or am I just talking to nobody? Oh, what a relief. You can hear me. Success. One thing I need you guys to know is I'm a total Twitch noob. I don't really use Twitch. I don't watch people on Twitch. I've barely ever used it in my life because I'm an ancient millennial old man. So I'm always open to suggestions on how to make my stream better, etc. So yeah, feel free to fire ideas at me, but yeah, I'm basically just gonna be drawing and chatting, so let's begin. So, for anyone that's watched me color before, one thing I like to make clear is the best way to render skin and clothes is to have a good reference of what it looks like. A lot of people are good at blending and like shading and stuff, but they get the skin wrong because they just don't know how the light properly falls onto it. And that's one of the biggest things, is just knowing where the light is, how it's going to fall on the skin, how it's going to blend. So if you don't have a good reference to show you that, then you're going to get it wrong, because no matter how good you think you are at just anticipating how shading goes, you're probably wrong, and that's not a bad thing. It's because we just, don't have that natural gift of perfectly understanding everything, otherwise we'd all be perfect, amazing artists. So the more you find good references and the more you find good references and reference from realistic lighting and stuff, you'll get better. So it's not like you'll always necessarily have to depend on good references, but most of the amazing artists that I know use references for a lot of things. So, I just saw that comment in the chat. So, what I have here, what I like to do with my drawings is I like to get a general pose down. It took me a while, but I eventually came up with this one for Catria. And then I like to create that pose in a 3D pose builder. The one I use is called Easy Poser. And I like to make a 3D rendering because these programs can simulate light. They can simulate the way that light would fall onto your model. So that allows you to get a decent read on, obviously what the muscle tones would look like and stuff. I'm also going to make her base tone a little darker here. So I'll post the link to the reference I'm using in chat. Like I said, it's kind of like a rudimentary mock-up of the pose I created. It's not perfect, but it just captures the general pose. So let me post that into the chat real quick if you guys want to check it out. I don't know if there's a way to like have this link permanently displayed somewhere, because again, I know nothing about Twitch at all. But I'm copying it. I'm pasting it. Okay, I just pasted a link of my reference, so if you guys want to see kind of what my inspiration is as I shade this, it's not just me magically knowing where all the lighting falls, it's, you know, I'm actually looking at something and very much depending on a source to tell me a semi-realistic way that this lighting works. So enough of that. Yeah, and man, I say just follow what you like to do. My advice is that it's never too late to draw for anyone. And you know, your drawings might look like a 4-year-old's, or you might not be happy with them or whatever. But really, you got to start somewhere. But also, I advocate just doing what you want. You know, so if you feel like music's your thing, rock on and do music, man. But I also will always encourage anyone who wants to draw, even if they feel like it's beyond them, you know? Okay, one more thing. So, one way that I achieve the kind of soft effect of my photos, or not my photos, my drawings, is I segregate the color blocks into different layers. And then I turn on a transparency lock, which allows me to color within these shapes without me leaving the bounds. So I've created this for her skin, so all the coloring I do right now will be confined within these lines, allowing me to not have to worry about, you know, constantly touching up the edges and stuff like that. I can see there's a discrepancy up here with her skin. It looks like I colored on the wrong layer at some point. And also, for some reason, my stupid my drawing program doesn't play well with OBS, so for some strange reason, OBS doesn't show my layers palette on my program, or like when I use a lot of the tools or go into the menu, so that's weird. Alright, so I've talked about a whole lot of nothing for a while, so let's get started. I'm not going to be talking like the whole time about what I'm doing, like I'm not going to be narrating this, you know, like 100% of the time, so there might be periods where I'm not really talking, and if I'm not, if you want to ask me something, feel free. So I am using a Surface Pro, actually. So technically I'm on desktop, I'm on Windows 10, but I'm using a Surface Pro, and I'm using a program, this is probably going to get asked a lot, so viewers just prepare. I'm using a program called Sketchable. It's a very obscure program that most people don't know about, and it was pretty much designed for Surface Pro users to do art, so it's not like super known, but it makes it extremely easy for me to do digital art without using a keyboard, which I really like. I hate getting on Photoshop and like how there's like 20 steps to every little thing. Like everything I need to do in Sketchable is accessible from a touch interface. It's a program that's got a lot of flaws. I'll be the first to point them out. I get frustrated with it sometimes, but overall it has the best package for what I need. Nice. So my wife is here yesterday, or today, what am I talking about? My wife is here right now, using a brand new iPad that we won today from our chiropractor, because we had great ugly Christmas sweaters. So that's pretty bitchin'. Yeah, they were amazing. We had cat Christmas sweaters with these big cats, and then we dressed up one of our cats in a Santa hat. and it was amazing. And we won the contest. So, free iPad, baby. I wish it was an iPad Pro so I could try the drawing on it, but we realized it was $400 more, so we're like, I'm gonna pass on that one. Gregster98 says, hi, Jack's wife.
Hi. What is it?
Gregster98. Actually, there are a few questions. Yeah, so I've very briefly used Procreate. From what I understand, Procreate is kind of just a much more stable version of this. I really love this program, though. I just hope they get it more updated. There's another question for you. It says, how do you feel that I draw this kind of stuff?
I think it's awesome.
All right. Did you hear that? She thinks it's awesome. That's because I have an awesome wife. She's pretty cool. They're telling you to cosplay this. Alright, so guys, here, basically what I'm doing right now is I like to kind of just like do a cell shading layer, sort of. So like right now, all the color that I'm adding is just a darker tone, and it's just like kind of solids right now. So obviously when I render, it usually ends up getting pretty detailed, so there's still a while to go. But yeah, I like to start things off with just basic blocks of color. Dude, I had no idea how many Catria fans there were until I started drawing this. And like how many Christmas Catria drawings I've seen. That's like weird. I mean, it's great, but like, you know, I got this very specific request for Christmas Catria. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then in the meantime, I've seen like 4 different ones from other artists, and it's just kind of funny that this one specific character has randomly gotten a bunch of artists drawing Christmas versions of her.
What?
Oh, and I am pretty lucky. My wife is pretty cool. Go find yourselves one like this. She's pretty great. You know, I think Catria is pretty cool. I haven't played the original, like I haven't played Shadow Dragon or Mystery or whatever. I like the White Wings though. I played Echoes. I think Heroes kind of did Catria kind of dirty. I'm not a huge fan of her art. But I do like her general character design. So I based this design a little bit more off... I'd say it's more inspired by her Echoes design than her Heroes design, but it's kind of... I don't know, just kind of a composite, I guess. Dude, my wife is cooler than me, like, I admit it. Let's just face the truth here. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of Hidari's art, man. I loved the art style for Echoes. Unfortunately, I feel like we're probably not going to get very much more of him, which is a shame because I really love his style. One thing I love about Hidari's style too, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but one thing I love about his style is that it's not like super indulgent, you know. He makes really good looking characters of both sexes, but they're not like just totally like sexed out or you know, fan servicey. They're good like designs, really good art style. I had no idea it was a female. Huh. I guess that makes sense as to why the characters are less indulgent if a female is drawing them. Good on her then. Learn something new every day. So right now, I'm kind of, you know, doing some blending on her stomach, and it's looking weird. The thing that you have to expect from every drawing, if you're an artist, is that it'll go through an ugly phase, where things just look bad and ugly and terrible. And you have to endure through these phases. It happens to everyone where your drawing just looks like total shit, okay? Right now, I'm just following my reference and kind of blocking in the musculature, and it's not very accurate right now. I'm probably, you know, I'm gonna be experimenting with it. Looks kind of weird, but you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith that it's going to look better, and don't just give up when it starts looking bad, because that is the bane of artists. Yummy. Oh. Yeah, and I'm sorry my commissions are really expensive right now. I would like for them to not be that expensive in the future. The bottom line right now is I just don't have very much time at all to draw, so it's like I can't put very many drawings on my plate, so it's like basically if I take commissioned drawings, they have to be worth the very limited amount of time I have, so they're kind of in a phase right now where they're a little more pricey. Actually, they're closed right now, but they were when I opened them. So I very much thank the commissioner for this one. Thanks, dude. But yeah, I look forward to lowering the prices of commissions when I am able to. Yeah, and dude, my voice is weird. I don't even like my voice. Like when I hear my recorded voice, it sounds so much different than the way I hear it in real life. Kind of a bummer. It's like really deep and not very conventional sounding. It is what it is. But yep, surprise, this is how I hear, or it's how I sound. Wait, what about Game of Thrones? I just finished Game of Thrones for the first time. It was amazing. It was everything I wanted. I fought so hard to avoid spoilers. It was quite the ordeal. Well, thank you for your thoughts on my voice. I'm kind of a little, like, mic shy. I need to get used to talking over mic and, like, communicating over mic. I've never really liked doing it, like, even in online games and stuff. Which is weird, because in real life, I'm actually pretty extroverted. I'm not really shy, but I don't know. It's never been my thing. Um, so glad to hear it's working out. Yes, it's terrible that you haven't watched Game of Thrones. Do it now. It's so good. I love it. Game of Thrones was like everything I wanted in a show, and I knew that the whole time it's been out, and I've just never gotten around to watching it, and I finally did, and I was like, what have I been doing with my life? And if you catch it now, you're going to be able to catch Season 8 in April, and you'll be able to join in the mass media phenomenon as everyone experiences the last season together. So do it. Yeah, I get that from my following a lot. I have a lot of people in my following tell me they're a bit more shy, quiet in real life, better on mic, and you know what? You do you. Do what is most comfortable to you, and yeah. It's all good. Yeah, for some reason I've always just, man, I always just like dread getting on mic or like talking on the phone. Like, I hate talking on the phone. Oh man. I don't pick up so many phone calls because I'm just like, oh, I wasn't prepared to talk on the phone. Oh, this is terrible. So don't be like me. I'm also like an old man, and I feel like most people in my following skew younger, either like in high school or early, you know, like young adulthood. And I think your generation is a much less mic shy generation than mine is. You guys grew up with the internet in full swing. I grew up when it was in its Wild West phase, and like this new thing, which was really interesting. So I am 28. So like I said, an old, ancient, decrepit man. So my social media in middle school and early high school was MySpace. I was around when Facebook was actually good and not the great horror of all the earth. Also, I don't know what song's playing in the background because I actually don't have the volume on. I just put it on a YouTube playlist and just let it go crazy. So you'll have to have the chat answer you on that one. But yeah, in reality, I'm not actually that old, but I'm old relative to most of my following. Because it's true, drawing Fire Emblem characters and stuff, it's gonna skew younger. But obviously, there's nothing wrong with being into it at a more advanced age. 94. Nah, dude, Facebook was amazing at a very specific, certain point in time for a very brief window. Part of the reason for that is because there was a period of time where instant messaging only existed in instant messaging clients like AIM. And if you ever wanted to instant message someone, you'd have to get on a chat program, get their handle, and message them. It was weird. And Facebook was like this great connecting tool that allowed you to talk to anyone online. And this was a time where that was not as common. And it was really cool. Now Facebook is just utter, complete garbage. I hate browsing it. I hate looking at it. I hate reading about all the ethical bullshit that they... I guess unethical bullshit that they're... God. I am very opinionated on how much I loathe Facebook. They're just the worst. And I'm a 90. October 20th, 1990. And that's totally true. A lot of older people do like Fire Emblem. It's not exclusive to younger folks. I just feel like the majority of fans are on the younger end of the scale at this point, but there are definitely older fans out there, especially the fans that grew up playing the older games. I feel like most Fire Emblem fans now kind of come from this era where the 3DS games brought a lot of people in, including me. I got into Fire Emblem because of the 3DS games. I'm one of those. And obviously a lot of people were getting into it because of Heroes. But I love to have old and young fans in my following, so bring it on. And yeah, dude, Ocarina of Time came out when I was 8. And the reason I play Young Link in Smash Bros. Ultimate is because Ocarina of Time changed my fucking life, man. Playing Ocarina of Time as the target audience in the era of its release was incredible, and it was like one of the coolest things ever, and I just fell in love with Zelda. I fell in love with Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask is pretty much my favorite game of all time. Love it. I have not played the Oracle games to completion. It's one of the few Zelda games I haven't totally completed. I didn't have a Game Boy to play them on when they came out, and since then I just haven't really gone back to emulating them, but from what I've heard from everyone, they're very good, so I should get to that when I can. Yeah, I've always pronounced it Ocarina. And my word is law, so clearly everyone who's saying it otherwise is wrong. But in reality, I have no idea how to properly pronounce it, so it is what it is. Alright, so I've got some cell shading down for her skin. What I'm going to do now is go through with some lighter colors. With some highlights. Let's get in there with those. Same kind of deal. I am just going to be doing like blocks for now. Anyone want a tip on choosing colors, like shading, like shadow colors and highlights? What I do is when I select a color, don't just choose the darker or lighter version of the color you're on if you want more colorful, interesting lighting. If you want better lighting, this is for all the artists out there in my chat. If you want better looking colors, here's my advice. Take your base color, and if you want a highlight, move it towards yellow on the color wheel. And then go and choose a brighter shade of it. If you want a shadow, get on the color wheel and move it towards blue. Just a little bit, and then choose the darker color. I don't know if that is useful to anyone, but I'm just throwing it out there. Alright, back to business. Your grandma called me. So guys, just curious if anyone is hearing me. Where are you guys coming from today? Like, who found me? Who came to this stream from Twitter? Who came from Discord, etc.? I'm curious. The most entertaining streamer ever. Cool, so quite a few people from Twitter, quite a few from Discord, that's good to hear. By the way, anyone who's not on my Discord, you guys are free to join. The link is on my Twitter profile in the pinned tweet. Always looking for new people. And I'm rolling out a system soon where the more you participate on my Discord server, you can get little rewards like getting entries into art raffles, stuff like that. So yeah, it's a fun little server, and I would love to see you guys there to just chat about anything and everything. Also, Nin Jaguar 360, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. How are you? Yeah, I'm gonna set up that cat shop soon. I'm really sorry for delaying that so long. The truth is, I'm just super freaking busy all the time. So to actually like sit down and like get some stuff done is time that I'm like, well, I could be drawing. I could be doing something with my wife. I could be playing some Precious Smash Bros. So I do need to roll that out, and it will be soon. I promise. And yes, I do like waffles. I would argue that I like waffles more than pancakes at this point. I'm kind of over breakfast food, to be honest, because breakfast food is really just a fancy word for dessert these days. It's very delicious dessert, but not really stuff I can afford to be eating every morning. And French toast is probably my favorite out of waffles and pancakes and French toast. In any case, guys, this is for the artists out there. Again, anyone who might be watching. I get asked a lot, how do you draw such good clothing folds? How do you make the clothes look so good? I'm about to do some of the starting work on the clothes. The short answer is I don't know. I literally just improvise the clothing folds on my drawings because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I usually don't know where the wrinkles are, and I just kind of experiment until I find something that works. But I'm about to do the starting work just so it can kind of blend with the skin blocking a little bit, because it starts to look a little jarring when you have a bunch of, you know, blocking and nothing happening with the clothes. And I do also love pie. Maybe not as much as my wife, but it does have a spot in my heart. But she is probably the pie enthusiast between us. But yeah, so anyway, the way that I start with my clothes, I'm going to get back to them later. But I'm going to start off for now. So what I'm going to do is get the airbrush tool, and first I'm going to go into the actual clothes layer. So here's this layer. As you can see, it just has the clothes on it, at least the top and the skirt. So I'm going to turn on this layer. Boink. Thank you for the compliment on the Adrift Corin. Though I didn't design that outfit, that was based off her hero's outfit. But I do agree it's one of the best looking just clothing that I've drawn in terms of the wrinkles and stuff. I really like how that turned out. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on the airbrush tool. Pretty much any art program has this, so if you're, if you want to try to draw like me or take inspiration from my style or something, it's not like, what the heck? It's not like you have to be using my program or something. What the hell? Sorry, my airbrush is not functioning as it should right now. Let me see if I can fix this. What are you doing? That is not correct at all. We have a problem here, and that is that my airbrush is not loading as it should. I might have to restart my program real quick. Which, given how ridiculously buggy this program is, could end up in me having to restart my computer. Wish me luck. I don't know how this is going to impact the stream. Give me just a second. Hello? Can you hear me? Are we good? Is the stream intact? Did I ruin everything? Are we back? Are we good? Hello? Somebody say yes if you can hear me and if the stream is working. Okay. Yes and no. What does that mean? Okay, great. Are you serious?
Yeah. We found it. We found it in the house with that whole bunch of stuff. They had broken the door open with a crowbar.
What the hell?
And she got everything back except for fucking dollar space. I was gonna go for the insurance, but... Oh, this is crazy.
Oh, jeez. That sucks. Okay, sorry guys. I'm back. Alright, so again, we're good, right? Sorry my program crapped out on me. So as I was saying, I'm going to start blending her clothes now. So, so again, what I'm going to do for this green shade is I'm going to open up my airbrush tool. So every program has this. It's like a soft, fuzzy coloring tool. Airbrush is actually one of the best tools you have for digital art, and I use it a lot in my drawing. The problem with the airbrush is that people often rely on it too much. The airbrush is not a tool that you do everything with, it's a tool that you enhance your work with. You do the majority of your work with the other brushes. It's kind of hard to explain. Anyway, going in. So I'm going to move my color closer to blue because I want a shadow. And then I'm going to move it down a little darker. And to start with the clothes, I just do very basic airbrush shape of what the blending is going to look like. So I'm going to do this in a lot more detail later. But for now, let's just get some... hold on. Let's just get some basic blocking in there. You guys are hearing me, right? Hey, you know what? She is blue. And that actually gives me an idea. What if instead of just drawing kind of a darker green color, what if we tried doing something crazy and making the shadows more of a blue color? It might look terrible. Let's try it. And with the red, we could maybe do like a color, and that could kind of evoke the blue in her design a little bit. Should the music be louder? I don't actually know how well it's balanced. Because I didn't really test it. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna see what blue kind of shading might look like, and if it looks terrible. Don't know how I feel about it right now. Let's see how it might look with highlights. So I'm going to move this more towards yellow, brighten it up. And sometimes this happens when you do a drawing, just kind of random improvisation to see how things work. I don't know if I love it. So I might go back to a more green shadow. How does this sound for music volume? I just turned it up a little bit. How does this sound for music those dirty skin artists. Okay, this shade of green I'm using isn't quite as exciting as the blue I was experimenting with. But I think for this drawing I'm just going to go with something a little safer. So as you can see, I'm just blocking in very general shapes. I'm going to go in later with sharper brushes, which usually helps a lot to achieve the kind of clothing effect that I have in my drawings. Now I'm going to do the skirt. I hope you're ready to watch me take eons to figure out how the hell to shade this skirt. Skirts and dresses are like the bane of my art. I know they shouldn't be hard, but like I have the hardest time just visualizing how they work. So you're gonna see how I don't really know my shit that well when I draw. I just kind of work until it figures itself out. I wish I was an artist that just knew, but I'm not. So, and that's one thing that I like to tell people is that is okay. You don't have to know how everything works all the time when you're doing your art. You just have to know what you can do and try to improve. Alright. So I'm thinking it comes down like this. So that part is kind of So this part's kind of going down. Man. This part's getting illuminated by the light. This one is getting cast in shadow. This is touching your groin, so it's getting more shadow. This is getting shadow. Okay, it's not looking terrible. But like I said, I am totally just winging this. I do not have the authority to say whether this would actually be correct in real life. But I think that looks mostly okay. Need more shadow on this. I don't know. Okay, I think that's a good enough baseline for her skirt for now. I'll go back later and try to figure that out more. I'm just gonna add a couple highlights to her skirt now. I don't know. The skirt isn't great right now, but it's fine. I'll get back to it later. Now, as you can see, I have segregated these to one layer. So let's just color this a little bit. One thing to know about my art going forward into the future is that you will most likely start seeing some style changes from me, because I want to start experimenting with methods of how to be faster. I want to try to preserve the general aesthetic that I have already, but experiment with ways to kind of cut time off the process, like not doing the line art as exhaustively, etc. So my style might evolve here soon, but if I can figure out a way to do art faster, that will be great, because I'll be able to do a lot more drawings. Right now, doing like one drawing every 2 weeks isn't really cutting it. I'd like to be able to do way more than that. That would also allow me to take more commissions, draw more things I want to draw, etc. So that would be great. Hey man, thanks for checking in. Thanks to everyone who joins the chat. You guys are the bomb. Okay, one last thing before I start blending the skin. I'm gonna add some value to her hair. Opinion time. Who thinks her forehead is too big?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that. I wonder if
Just
I
make
can.
the part lower.
Yeah, I wonder if I can just fix it by just. Yeah, so guys, I rarely get things right the first time through on a drawing. An example being her forehead, which I do think is a little too big, maybe more of a 5 head, if you will. And yes, that was my wife in the background, offering her sage wisdom. What would I do without her?
You wouldn't have any clean laundry ever.
Oh! It's true though. So I'm gonna experiment here with her hair to see if it looks better with the lower part. I don't think it's that bad as it is right now, but I think it could maybe be a little better. So let's try it. I don't think it's that bad as it is right now, but I think it could maybe be a little better. So I'm gonna push her hairline down just a tad. Oh no. That's That maybe looks kind of weird. I don't know. Let's try it again. See, ideally you want to sort this stuff out before you start publicly streaming to everyone. Sometimes adjustments like this just take forever for me to figure out, even though it's something really simple. Alright, Jess. This.
Wait, I can see. Right
This. Or that.
It's better. It's still pretty big.
pull up a picture of her real quick.
Her forehead is huge. That's because she has a headband on.
Hey, here's an idea. The commissioner is here in the chat. Do you want her headband? I was actually thinking about adding it, and that would help inform my decisions on how to shape her hair here. She could have like a little Christmas headband. Are you getting this, anyone?
I found a bot home.
Bought what?
I've been sharpening it too.
Oh.
I didn't have it. This whole thing. I haven't bought music in years.
With you. Jade Alexander. Oh, dude. Commissioner. How do you feel about me putting her headband on? Like a Christmas colored headband. Hey, I appreciate the compliment on the art. Alright, folks, he likes the idea. Let's just experiment with what that would look like. I'm just gonna add this to the layer underneath. Let's just pretend that she has a green headband. I don't know what it's gonna look like yet. We're just going crazy right now. So this layer is underneath her hair, which is, that's not right. Okay, hold on. It's underneath her hair, which allows me to just draw headbands like that without me having to, you know, deal with drawing around the hair and stuff. Alright, going back. Let's try that again. Alright, so suppose we have something like this, and I don't know, maybe it has like some Christmas, some red in it or something. I don't know how it's gonna look, but how do you feel about that? Night Sturge, or is it Sturg? Sturge? I don't actually know. You know, I'm kind of liking the headband. Let's keep it for now. And that gets that key Catria aesthetic in there. Win-win. Sturge. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I agree. The headband is kind of like a White Wings trademark in general, so I think, yeah, adding it is a good decision. Alright. Forehead crisis averted. We're moving on. Hooray. And yeah, I'm gonna play around with other things. She's actually gonna have stockings, as you can see by the clear lines on her legs. But what I usually do with stockings is I blend the leg first. I blend all her just skin shading, and then I add stockings over that, and I make them transparent, so the shading just kind of does itself. But I haven't decided what kind of stocking pattern I want. It might be candy cane. Might be red and green. If you have any ideas, shoot them my way. Also, Twitch saves my stream automatically. But I would like to upload this to YouTube. Though the YouTube version is probably going to be like a time lapse. I would like to do more on YouTube because I made like one video once and I got 30 followers, and I was like, hey, I should do this more, and then I never did. And yeah, man, I have 2 monitors up right now and my phone for my reference picture. That is the struggle of drawing and streaming and chatting at the same time. Okay, who wants to see me blend some skin? Oh wait, no, I was gonna do the hair first, just a quick touch-up. Guys, I'm gonna do the hair similar to what I did with the clothes for now. Just a really simple, just a simple airbrush blend for now. We're gonna go back later and touch it up. Honestly, I'm not gonna finish the rendering on this drawing tonight. It's probably gonna take longer than I have time to stream. Unfortunately. Another thing that would be avoided if I just learned how to draw faster. Okay, so this isn't really like a final approximation of what her hair is going to look like. But just something to add some shape to it, otherwise it looks kind of incongruous to the rest of the drawing as I'm shading the rest of that. Alright guys, I'm about to shade some skin, so probably the most common comment I get about my coloring is that people love the way I do skin. So if you want to see the magic happen, here we are. Again, what I do for this is I lean really hard on my reference. I would like to get better at not doing that, but it's better to, in my opinion, to have a reference and kind of have to depend on it to make a good drawing than to not use references at all, stubbornly, because your drawing are going to look more just bad if you're not using any references. So I'm going to send the link again to my reference. There's my link. And yeah, you can expect me to make some changes to the hair. It is a little more full on one side. Part of that was intentional because that's kind of how her Echoes art is. But I tend to draw more strands and more depth and stuff when I actually do the final touch-ups on the hair. Alright, so here I go. So basically what I like to do with skin is I've always maintained that the best way to get good looking skin is to have a combination of hard edges and soft edges. That's really the best way I can describe it. It's not very good description, but just bear with me here. So, alright. Let's take her arm up here, for example. You kind of have chiseled edges in shadows and lighting that manifest themselves when it's just blending onto their skin. So like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my airbrush and I'm going to blend... Oh wait, I'm not in the right layer. I'm going into her arm and I'm going to blend this into a curve, and what I'm using to understand where to blend is I'm looking at my reference picture, right? Always look at your reference, whether it's like a mock-up you made in a 3D app, or whether you have a photo that you're referencing from. Always look at it because it helps a lot. Now there's a harder edge right underneath the bend where her shoulder is, so give me just a second to change my brush here. So another trick to actually, I'm just curious, is there anyone in the stream right now that's interested like in my art tips and stuff? Because I'll gladly say them if there are artists in here that want to learn, but if you guys are just here to watch and you're not really gonna be using drawing tips, just let me know. You know, it's funny, so I post my work to Reddit all the time. And there's definitely like a canned set of responses that I get every time, like invariably from people. You know, like one of them, I think every picture is like, I'm a simple man. I see Catria, I upvote. Or like, I see you too are a man of culture. Definitely see those a lot. Okay, well, if there's even one person in here, which apparently there is, that wants to hear drawing tips, I will keep doing them. So, what I was saying is when I do skin, I basically like to follow reference and just kind of mix hard, crisp edges with soft blended ones, because if you only go really soft, it creates a really airbrushed feel that's not really true to life. But if you're only drawing super hard edges, everything just looks, you know, what can I say, too hard. So you really just have to like look at a solid reference of how light is falling onto the body and like making it crisp at certain points and soft in others. And it's hard to explain my logic of how I decide that with each stroke, but yeah, that's kind of at least the mental process that I'm going through when I do it. Canadian government, what's up? Welcome to the stream, man. You get to hear my beautiful, wonderful voice. And another big thing to making my skin look good is drop shadows. Drop shadows meaning like shadows that are being casted onto the figure, which are very hard. That goes a long way into making drawings look good. And the best way to do that is because since there are two types of shadows. There are like natural blending shadows, like the soft blending that occur because light is just bending on the human body, and like, you know, like this shoulder right here is a soft shadow because light just isn't reaching it. But then there's drop shadows, which is when a shadow is being directly cast onto the skin on an area that's otherwise bright. So what I like to do to get drop shadows looking really good is to make that area really bright, like light is hitting it directly, and then just draw a bold, dark shadow right over it. Boom. So that kind of has the effect of like, oh, she's in the light, but there's a strong shadow casting onto her, so it's interrupting that blending. Also, I'm reading the chat, and just how funny would it be if Canadian government was literally Justin Trudeau, like the man himself just happens to be a total closet Fire Emblem nerd. Just the idea of that makes me giggle. Yeah, at this point, I kind of feel like skin is sort of like my secret weapon right now. I'd have no idea where my art would be if I wasn't able to draw good skin. That's like... that just kind of carries my drawings for now. Hopefully I get better at my fundamentals as I keep drawing. A 15 out of 10 scale. That is some high praise. I guess my art would be nothing without those. Nothing! So anyone who's watching, here's another example of like a harder edge. Like the curve of the breast right here kind of wants to stand out. So instead of doing really soft blending, I'm doing like a harder line right there. Boom. Also, hello Slayer the Lolly, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. And it's Moon. Moon, you're here in my chat. Hi. This is my voice. Isn't that nuts? My voice is actually really weird. I said it earlier, but my voice sounds so much different when I hear it recorded, and I don't really like it. Yeah, that's what everyone says. But I don't like my voice. My S's sound weird.
What?
My S's. They
What?
sound the way I say S sounds.
S's?
Yeah, it sounds weird. I can't tell you how they sound when I hear myself saying them, but when I hear myself recorded saying them, I don't know. I don't like the way I say S's.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about this problem.
I don't know, but I just thought it was this.
Nice.
I still have like $38.
Nice. What's up, dude? How's it going? It's not really doing what I want it to.
It's like so much taller than her.
Oh, Moon, that's just like a daily, just a daily crisis I go through. Just, every day wake up. We're all gonna die. It's funny because we're all just gonna kill ourselves. I'm talking about the future of mankind. We're getting existential up in here. I'm gonna start saying all of my S's with a sibilance noise.
No,
Sowy sours, sea showers by the seashore. Posting tongue twisters. Sally sells seashore.
Shells.
Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Down by the seashore.
Well, I just read what was posted. Okay, I'm not loving how her neck is turning out at the moment. This is one of those weird situations where you have a cast shadow, but you still have blending and other values within that cast shadow. And another situation where I'm kind of like, all right, I'm gonna wing it. Even though that might not be the wisest decision. The greatest service the world has to offer. What is that? Oh, there you go. Oh, right, that. Yeah, you're welcome. Dude, I relate to that with the depression thing. It's not really a thing I've struggled with that much. My mental issue is ADD. That's what I struggle with. But me saying we're all gonna die was just me getting unnecessarily I hesitate to use the word political. Yeah, I'm just gonna defer all commentary on the art now to Moon. He's now the official representative of explaining how art works. That's usually how I approach it online, because he has offered very good constructive criticism to my work many times, so thanks for that. Alright guys, I'm gonna get into her face now, which is always dangerous. Not dangerous, but nerve-wracking, because anime faces are weird and annoying and they don't work like normal human faces. Hey man, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Appreciate all of you. You guys are the best. For supporting my art, for stopping in the stream, for chatting with me. The best. Anyway, as I was saying, anime faces are weird and annoying and dumb and don't shade the same way that human faces do, and I still always have this struggle every time I draw of like wanting to color and shade and draw like in a more Western realistic style, but also trying to evoke an anime look. And it's like this duality that like I can never truly figure out. I've tried just going like full anime with my drawings, and somehow I'm never able to completely go through with it, if that makes sense. I'm pretty satisfied with how my faces have turned out in most of my recent drawings. But it is definitely like a source of stress, like getting them to that point and wondering like, ooh, does this actually look good? Man, alright, hold on. And yeah, sometimes there's like black magic sorcery with my drawings because I end up drawing things on the wrong layers. So I have to, like, she had blush, like red cheeks, but they were drawn on the hair layer, and I can't have that right now. So the blush will return, but not right now, this second. Because I need to shade her face, and it was getting in the way. Alright, so I like to take things simple when I'm shading an anime face. A lot of anime artists just like barely even do any shading on the face. It's like the whole body is super realistically shaded, and then the face just has nothing. I've tried that before. I think I've gotten better results when I do try to like at least have some degree of I don't know, shapes in there. But like I said, anime faces are just the worst. So bear with me here. One of the things I struggle the most with anime faces is that, like, they don't have real noses. They have, like, it's like if you just pulled a little piece out of a flat surface and just, like, made it point outward. That's what their nose is. It's, like, just a little tiny point. I don't know, man. It's a struggle. Let's do it, Moon. I'm going in. Yeah, and it's weird because I feel like I have actually like a really good idea of how faces work. And like I used to draw more realistic faces and I never had a problem shading the face right. But it's when you get into this weird ass like pseudo anime face that's not shaped like normal real people faces, it throws me off. And this is one of those things that I'm probably going to come back to later, potentially not in a stream, just so I can figure it the fuck out. And that's the thing about drawing is like, you find something you struggle with. Hey man, thanks for coming to the stream. I appreciate you and your support. Thanks, man. I'll see you around on Twitter, I suppose. Yeah, and that's the thing, Moon, is like I struggle. I'm like, should I draw a realistic looking nose or just do the little dot that a lot of anime drawings have? Or like a half Z, because like I see a lot of anime art that does the half Z nose and it works and it's fine, but like I'm at that point where I don't know with a surety which one to do and when and why and which one works best for my style, you know? And for any artists that are watching this, like that's a thing that you'll experience with art, is like you do what you're good at, and as you do it, you're gonna learn what you're not good at. And at a certain point, certain things won't be a priority. I mean, if you don't know how to blend at all and like you just struggle with finding the right colors, it's like not being very good at noses isn't your first priority. It's like you kind of find things to focus on and get better on. And for a while, I've kind of just been coasting on having like mediocre noses in my drawings. But now that I've improved a lot on other aspects of my drawings, like I feel like my eyes have gotten better. Like I feel like my eyes have gotten better, my anatomy has gotten better. It's like now the nose kind of sticks out as something that I struggle with more, so now it's time to put more focus on the nose as a priority I need to fix. So that's kind of how it is with art. You'll just, time goes on and you just constantly discover things that you can improve on and prioritize and etc. Oh, okay. Never mind. So that's like a really hard question, Moon, because I like a lot of styles, like I do like the full anime style. Like if you look at like Ormil with all the lins, like that's like super anime. And that looks really nice. You know, it's like the big ol' eyes, the tiny dot for the nose. I think it's a good aesthetic. I struggle with that aesthetic though because I'm really big on rendering and shading, and like it goes against my nature to go full anime, because for full anime faces are like really flat and weird, and it goes against my nature. So it's like I would like to draw pictures like that, but it just feels weird, and I can't resist not rendering them, and that just makes it weird. So that being said, I look to pictures that have a little bit more definition, and I probably have to find an example of one, but this is an example of something that I'll do on my own time, because if I take a break and start looking at drawings to study and stuff, I would just keep you guys waiting. So I'm probably going to focus on other aspects of the drawing for now and come back to her face later. But Mooney, to answer your question, shoot, again, I don't know, I'd have to find some specific examples. One that comes to mind, if you guys know the artist Koyorin, Koyorin, I love the way they do faces. It's like an anime look, but they have, a little more realism in their noses and mouths and lips. I think it's a pretty cool, like, hybrid style. So you can always check that one out. Hey, that sounds like a great idea for stream, actually. And that's actually something I've wanted to do for a while, is just like as an experiment on how to get better, like take certain artists and be like, I'm going to try to create a picture in your style. Not to say that like I want to steal anyone's style or anything, but just like like, hey, I like the way you do this. I'm going to try to draw a picture like you and see what I learn from it, to inform the way I do my own drawings. See you later, man. Thanks for stopping by. And no, I actually totally agree with that, Moon. And obviously stealing isn't really the right word for it, because I think trying to recreate other styles and learning from other artists is how you get better. And almost invariably, it doesn't end up being their style that you use if you take elements from it. It just kind of morphs into your own thing until you have something unique. So I need to do that sometime. I'm gonna slow down on commissions a little bit so I can take more times to study and just improve my fundamentals, because that's kind of where I'm struggling with the most now, is just my fundamentals. At this point, they need to catch up with the rest of the progress I've made in my art.